Welcome, I'm Kinetic Symphony. This is Dave. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the supernatural. Case file number 1910, written by Balsuks. A thunderstorm's fiery rage reveals secrets from a bygone age. When I was young, my little brother and I would explore the woods and abandoned areas of the English countryside. There was this one abandoned, an overgrown farmhouse that we and a few other kids from the town broke into by kicking in the kitchen window, which was the closest window to the ground as the kitchen was half in the ground. When we got into the kitchen, the table was set and laid and very old. Dry and shriveled food was still on the plates. To us, it seemed like the family that lived there just got up during dinner and left and never came back. We explored the rest of the house and the furniture was all there, covered in dust, cobwebs, animal droppings. It was awesome. Our own little secret clubhouse. There was only one room we couldn't get into. The heavy wooden door was locked and no search for a key was ever fruitful. I couldn't explain it at the time, but I had to get into that room to look around. Consider it the video game completionist side of me. Myself and a few others found a heavy tree branch outside that we used as a battering ram, and after many swings, we finally got this door busted enough to open. Inside the room, there was no furniture except one cabinet fastened to the wall. Inside the cabinet was a single china doll, and while it wasn't creepy looking, the whole situation gave me, my brother, and our friends the chills. We hastily pulled the door as close as it would go and left the house for the night. That night, a thunderstorm rolled through town, and the next time we got out to the farmhouse, it was nothing but rubble and burnt wood. It had been a few days since the storm, but we figured it had been struck by lightning and burned to the ground. Being curious boys, we sifted through the ashes because why not? That is until I uncovered that cabinet in near perfect condition, with very little burn marks on it, and the doll inside, perfectly intact, just staring at the sky. It freaked me to my core, and I've never ran away from anything faster in my life. I never went back, and by the next year, my dad had been posted elsewhere in the country, and we moved. But I have never shook the feeling that the lightning didn't start the fire, nor did the family just leave. Case file 1910, a thunderstorm's fiery rage reveal secrets from a bygone age. The cabinet being protected by the energy of this china doll that is perhaps infused by a spirit. And this spirit could have migrated over from China, who knows? If a spirit is bound to an object, they can't move far away from the object, but if the object moved, well, yeah, they could travel in that way. Kind of a sightseeing ghost in that sense, but what kind of power would be able to protect the cabinet around it that's beyond what most spirits do? Or is it more of a cursed object, less of a conscious spirit left over, more of a remnant protection effect? The china doll seems very specific, but I wouldn't touch it, just to be on the safe side. Case file number 1911, written by Ephrael 7. Shrieks in the air, tempered by the naked hero's stare. I was showering one evening and had the bathroom window open for condensation. This particular window opens out above our side passage on the side of our house, about 20 feet above the gate below. I finished showering, wrapped a towel around my waist, and was walking out of the bathroom where I met my mom on the landing. She was walking out of her bedroom. Had begun telling me something about my laundry not being ready when mid-conversation, we heard the most gut-wrenching, blood-curdling scream I've ever heard. The scream entered through the bathroom window, echoing throughout the house, and in an instant I was filled with fright and adrenaline. The only thing I could picture when hearing this screaming was that a woman was being pinned down and stabbed to death in our alleyway. I bolted downstairs into the kitchen, and I must have covered about 20 stair steps in 3 strides, as my waist towel trailed behind me. By the time I got to our back door, I was stark bollock naked, fighting with each lock on the door. The whole time the screaming continued, It wasn't just one shriek, and it seemed to escalate to greater levels of anguish with each passing second. I was panicked, but ready to fight. All I could think was that someone was being stabbed to death in my passage. I had to save them. I leapt outside, swung around the corner, and ripped open the gate, ready to confront the attacker. The side passage was pitch black, and as my eyes were still adjusting, trying to make sense of anything that was there, the screaming stopped and all was still. Nothing was there, and there was no trace of anything having ever been there. I cautiously stepped back into the kitchen, where by this time my mom had caught up. After securing the perimeter with all outside lights turned on and scouting the front and back sides, we made sure our cat was alright. She had also heard the scream and was on high alert, standing on the kitchen table. To this day, I have no explanation what the source of the screaming was. We have foxes running through the area and they can make some weird yapping vocals, but this definitely wasn't an animal sound. It sounded like a human writhing and wailing for her life. Case notes found 1911. Shrieks in the air, tempered by the naked hero's stare. So first off, you have impressive bravery. Now people have fight or flight response, but in your case it was guardian response, because it wasn't happening directly to you, whatever was happening. Were you hearing the shrieks and cries of a woman in a different parallel universe? Not a fox. I'd agree with you on that, especially if you already heard what a fox sounds when they shriek, compared to what a human sounds like. Well, you have a good reference point then. But yeah, busting out and trying to defend a woman while being naked just out of the shower, very impressive, I have to say, even if there was no danger in reality. You didn't know that. Case file number 1912, written by XABO V3X. In the depths of the woods, with fears unconfined, the mystery of lights left us both redefined. Decided to watch Paranormal Activity for the first time with my dad up at our family cabin. In northern Wisconsin, in the middle of winter, and as far in the country as you can get. Not many other people around, especially in the winter. We're both big horror movie guys, so we were really excited. Got dark out, turned all the lights off except a little nightlight at the end of the hallway to see the bathroom door. Fast forward about 75% of the way done with the movie, and we take a quick break to grab a drink and go to the bathroom. Walk into my bedroom and all the lights are on. Overhead light, nightlight, lamp, and even a flashlight in the closed shelf. I specifically remembered turning off all lights, and the way this cabin is set up, there is no way to not see someone go into my bedroom. My dad never got up before I turned the movie on, so it couldn't be him, and frankly, he was just as terrified as me. Usually, I'd chalk it up to some freak coincidence, but 4 different lights that use different sources of power all turn on, when I'm 100% positive they were all turned off originally. We ended up turning off the movie and watched the funniest movie we had instead, Ace Ventura. I'm an atheist and have no belief in any paranormal or anything not really science-based, but this really fricked with me when I was 12 and both my dad and I still had no explanation. Case notes found 1912. In the depths of the woods, with fears unconfined, the mystery of lights left us both redefined. The key detail on this one is different power sources. Yeah, maybe you forgot that you left a light on in one room, but a flashlight? Why would that be on? It's not like you lost power. The only thing that should be able to do this, to turn them on, is anything that can influence the electromagnetic spectrum, ghosts namely. Now, they don't always materialize in physical form, so you may never see them, but you'll see their footprint of energy. And if there were never any negative vibes overall, I would say yeah, nothing to fear. Most spirits are not evil. Now time for the joke of the day. What do you call a javelin thrower with Parkinson's disease? Shakespeare. Oh my god. Some of these are just, spicy. Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell. Kinetic Symphony signing off.